Greetings and welcome to Talk a Little, Learn a Lot, the American Society of Naval Engineers podcast. I am your host, Stephen Phillips. In this podcast, we talk a little and learn a lot about naval engineering while inspiring the next generation of STEM professionals. Today, I'm joined by Miss Cheryl Jordan, Miss Jennifer Elliott, Mr. John Brenn, and Assistant Special Agent Mark Garhart to discuss the Fleet Maintenance and Modernization Symposium and the Innovation Theater. Jen, John, Mark, welcome to the podcast. And Cheryl, welcome back to the podcast. I am so looking forward to this discussion. Cheryl, let's start with you. Would you reintroduce yourself to the ASNE audience, please?
Yeah, thank you, Steve. I'm Cheryl Jordan. I'm a senior manager at Deloitte and have been supporting the Navy for the last 15 years. I've also been an ASNE member since 2011.
And tell us, what is the Fleet Maintenance and Modernization Symposium? Where is it held this year, and what are the main themes?
Yes, the Fleet Maintenance and Modernization Symposium is an annual event, and this year it is held on September 23rd through the 25th at the San Diego Convention Center. The schedule will include a variety of keynote speakers, panels, technical presentations, and extensive networking opportunities for maritime professionals across military, industry, and academia. And at its core, Steve, the event really fosters collaboration to advance maintenance, modernization, and technology integration, truly bringing together diverse stakeholders to share expertise and develop solutions for the fleet.
Now, Cheryl, the Innovation Theater is a key feature of FMMS. Please describe this venue and what happens there.
The better question, what doesn't happen in Innovation Theater? It is a unique and intimate experience, distinct from the main program's larger conference sessions, is spotlighting the everyday innovators who drive progress. Attendees can engage in discussions unencumbered by slides with inspiring leaders who are truly passionate about their work and their team. This year, we explore how cultivating maritime dominance, whether it's through advanced warships, skilled crews, and innovative strategies, strengthens our commitment to safeguarding national security. We'll hear from leaders in naval surface warfare, key figures in sustainment and logistics, and experts in data and knowledge management, while also welcoming new participants this year from the Naval Special Warfare Command and the Robotics Warfare Specialist community, who will showcase some of their cutting-edge toys. The audience can learn more about that community on your next podcast with two of the specialists. We also have the honor to host the senior executive of the Surface Warfare Enterprise, numerous NCIS executive leaders, and the remarkable K9 Mac. And for the first time in Innovation Theater, the Surface Navy engineering community will celebrate one of their own with a special award presentation. I've also opened a few time slots for companies to showcase their tech solutions that are making a real impact within DoD today. So, Steve, this is something that our audience would not want to miss out on.
John Brenn will be presenting the Waterfront Engineering Excellence Award, also known as the Roland T. Patin Engineering Excellence Award. John, let's start with, would you also introduce yourself briefly to the audience?
Excellent. Yeah, I'm John Brenn. I'm coming into town for FMMS from Washington, D.C. I am the Director of In-Service Surface Ship Engineering, O5D5 within NAVSEA. So basically all of the ship design managers for in-service surface ships work on my team. I was a ship design manager for the in-service LPD 17 class for about 6 years. I've been 25 years with NAVSEA and have had a myriad of experience, mostly within the in-service surface ship community.
Right on. Well, would you please unpack in more detail what this award is about and what it seeks to recognize?
Yeah, so Roland Patin, everybody called him Thad, which is the T in his middle name, Thaddeus. He was bigger than life. Just a really genuine, good, solid person, father, family man, friend. as well as waterfront engineer. He was the type of guy that if you needed an answer, if you needed the truth, if you needed a spec or a standard, he knew everyone. He knew, in my opinion, everything, and was just a larger than life presence on the waterfront. We lost him almost 2 years ago now to cancer, and this award is in his memory, in his honor, and he probably wouldn't like that this award exists, but we do, and I think it's something small we can do to honor Thad.
And so this is the inaugural award, and I know that you can't tell us yet who will be the first recipient. Folks are going to have to learn that later, maybe during the event. But can you share with us the process of gathering the nominations, reviewing each of those, and then making a selection?
Yeah, we had a panel of members for the selection panel that reviewed every applicant that came in. It wasn't just CNRMC or NAVC 05. It was a well represented panel. We received submissions of 12 or 13 waterfront engineers from across the globe. Some very good candidates. Some strong contributors to our Navy enterprise on the various waterfronts. Just a really, this was not easy. The winner is well deserved. He's well known amongst the surface ship engineering community. But you'll have to come to Innovation Theater on Wednesday at about, I think, 14:30 for the award presentation this week. But it's really a lot of good submissions across the enterprise, and I'm excited about who ultimately did win. They're someone that knew and worked with Thad well for years, and I think it's someone that Thad himself would have respected this decision and choice.
Well, John, I can't resist shifting to another question. I continue to listen and learn about advanced manufacturing, digital engineering, additive manufacturing. I'm curious, are these important to you, and how are things progressing as the maritime industrial base modernizes?
All these technologies are interesting to me. The looking at how we can implement technologies to better assess material condition and better repair quicker, faster ships are definitely to our advantage, whether it's additive manufacturing or some new novel use of AI, or even assessment technologies. As we walk around the exhibition hall this week, we'll likely see robots or cameras or any number of new technologies that can look at structure or corrosion or coating type systems, and really trying to lean forward in how we can assess the material condition better, quicker, more accurately, as well as anything that I can take back to my team on ways to repair ships as well is definitely what I'm looking to learn this week. And one of the more difficult things with these new technologies is how to implement them. What are the hurdles? Why aren't we already doing this? Is my usual question. Is it a spec and a standard? Is there someone somewhere that needs to give a thumbs up? Is there just lacking data, or is that data not in the right place to say that additive manufacturing of a new type of material is good, or use of a camera technology to do an assessment? What data can you already provide us, and where does that need to go? And that's the type of thinking I'm going to try to do this week in my gathering of new technologies across the maritime industry at FMMS.
In perusing the list of topics, moderators, and panelists, I saw many that drew my interest. I even saw some past guests of the podcast. For example, I saw that the Honorable Juan Garcia, former Assistant Secretary of the Navy for Manpower and Reserve Affairs, on the list. He joined me in episode 13 to discuss the Innovation Theater topic from last year called Twice the Citizen: Life as a Naval Reservist. This year, he is moderating a topic entitled Enhancing Fleet Survivability. Miss Jennifer Elliott will be on that panel. Jen, would you introduce yourself, please, to the Talk a Little, Learn a Lot audience?
Sure thing, Doctor. My name is Jennifer Elliott. I work for NAVC PMS 421, Large Surface Combatants, mainly focused on modernization of DDGs and cruisers.
And Jen, what do we expect to hear during that panel?
For my part, I'll be focused on, again, modernization of the fleet, but especially how we can go faster. With the latest in policy changes with current administration, we're hearing go and go fast. All signs are pointing to we want capability out there right now, and modernization directly leads to enhancing fleet survivability via, enhancing fleet lethality and also reducing detectability. So I believe we'll be focused on that mostly for my part.
Right now, I hear a lot of talk about smaller unmanned platforms. And of course, I see promise there. But I still think the backbone of the fleet is its large surface combatants. What is the way ahead, Jen, for our large surface combatants?
So what I see is that we're going to start coming up with more and more cutting edge capabilities, and we're going to get them out there a lot faster and be able to test them much more quickly um, than I think you can get the unmanned surface vehicles out. So we'll be leaning on our workhorses of the fleet, the DDGs, to really show what we're capable of doing out there.
One of the things that I keep reflecting on in this current environment is that if we're going to continue to build the fleet and grow rapidly, as you suggest, there's got to be a strong partnership between the United States Navy and the commercial vendors with industry. Partnership is an interesting word. There's a lot of meaning to that. I'm interested to hear your reflections on that. What are your thoughts as far as the Navy and everybody else as we move forward?
Thanks, Doctor. So I really believe that when we talk partnerships with industry, I think it sounds almost like vacant words to all parties. What does this mean? And in my opinion, we need to have further discussions about, instead of just asking industry to flex to our risk appetite, it's what can we both have to take ownership of and really identify the risk that we're taking on and how we're going to mitigate that so that it doesn't seem like just one side industry namely is really the one that will feel the pain of that risk. So we need to come up with more innovative ways to partnering with industry and in our contracting strategies to make this work.
Special Agent Mark Garhart, would you introduce yourself to the Talk a Little, Learn a Lot audience?
Yes, thank you, Stephen, for inviting NCIS. And I'm proud to say that I think this is the first podcast that an active NCIS agent has ever been on. We have scoured the interwebs and come up dry. So I'm going to own it. I'm going to say this is the first. And as it is the first with NCIS, the lawyers had to get involved. So I just got to have a quick disclaimer up front. Bear with me. The views I express here today are my own and do not represent those of NCIS or the Department of the Navy. We are very grateful to participate in this forum, but our presence here does not imply official sponsorship or endorsement of FMMS and ASNE or any associated products or services. Now, with that out of the way, my name is Mark Garhart. I'm a special agent with the Naval Criminal Investigative Service. Have been with NCIS for 22, going on 23 years now. My role as it currently sits is I am the ASAC, or an XO is probably the best equivalent for that, of an office that just does research, development, and acquisition CI protection for the Department of the Navy. Our roles center on criminal investigations, counterintelligence, cyber protection, and identifying insider threats. So that's where we stand currently in my role with NCIS and why we're here at FMMS.
Wow. So it is an honor for ASNE not just to have you on, but to have the first NCIS agent in a podcast. Fantastic. Would you describe your current role as a special agent and then talk about the panel that you're going to participate in during the Innovation Theater, which is entitled Industrial Shield, NCIS, CI, and the Future Fight?
Yes, well, NCIS stands right at the intersection of law enforcement, intelligence, and national security. This is very important for us as we, of many others, have heard the drumbeat of the Secretary of the Navy, of CNO, right? That shipbuilding, 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 right, is front of mind. So the maritime industrial base is where we have traditionally focused a lot of our efforts, but we need to focus them more. And being able to get out there to talk to the innovators, to talk to the scientists, to talk to the engineers. I'm very fortunate in that my division within NCIS, that's almost our sole focus, right, is to deal with these programs, is to ensure their safety, ensure their readiness, resilience, and the security against traditional and emerging threats. It's becoming more of a whole of NCIS approach, though. And so that's this outreach. So we are going to the mid majors within the space, right? Within the maritime industrial complex. We're already in with the big players. We want the mid majors. We want the up and comers, and we want them to view NCIS as enablers, because we are enablers. Traditionally, and you having come from the Navy yourself, sir, nobody really likes to see NCIS walk in the door, right? That's usually when, it's like the cantina at Star Wars, right? Where, the music's playing and then everything stops, right? Right when NCIS walks in. That's not the NCIS of today. We're enabling my sole focus for those that work for me is what are you doing today to enable the warfighter? And that's our mantra, right? We do that through several different venues. There's no better venue for us to really charge this outreach than FMMS, right? And ASNE. We are reaching, those folks we want to reach at the granular level, which is fantastic. I was very honored to be part of the Innovation Theater last year, and we made a full court press this year.
Well, I really appreciate that you have a unique perspective of the fleet. So you've discussed CI as part of this. I'm curious, what about force protection? I'm guessing that's part of the NCIS role, and if that's so, are we going to talk about that? Or are you going to connect with that during FMS 25?
Well, absolutely. And you've caught me. I've just been busy here giving you my pitch, right? And I hadn't really go into what we're going to talk about, but there's no better place to start with what we're going to bring to this particular innovation theater in the industrial shield discussion than starting with force protection. And why that? Well, because it's so many other things than just protecting the personnel, the facilities, the ships, right? It extends far beyond that. And we're really focused in on using every facet of NCIS that we can to enable all of our other disciplines, right? So for force protection, I may be focused in on a particular problem set, a facility, a building, a ship. A lot of what we traditionally employ can enable my agents in a force protection venue, can enable my agents to protect all those assets from counterintelligence threats, right? From criminal threats, from the insider threats. So we're really focusing in on presenting the audience and those that we'll meet with during the discussion and after the discussion. We want to present the broad swath, of what NCIS can provide. There's no better example of that than I'm fresh off the heels of supporting a large force test event out in California. Over 2 weeks, we threw the absolute kitchen sink that NCIS has to provide to that. And we saw cyber, enabling force protection, enabling counterintelligence, and even getting down to the nitty-gritty where I got my agents out there hooking up people and fingerprinting them and processing them that are doing things they shouldn't be doing in and around our facilities. And even outside of that, right? Like that's all intra NCIS. We had probably 22, I believe at last count, different federal and local partners that we employed in order to protect this event. Now, our series of events, excuse me. So we can't obviously throw the kitchen sink at everything, but now I can take that holistic look and apply it to different problem sets. And that's what we're looking to do here, is to educate the masses on what we provide. Let them know that we're not going to make the music stop, that we're not a drag. We're actually an enabler for many of the things that we want to progress, for most of the things we want to progress, and become that partner. And if I can get away at the end of the day with the audience taking away one thing, it's I want to bake NCIS into my plans. I don't want to bolt them on later on, right? We're maximally effective when you're able to bake us into how you do what you do. And if that's with an innovator at a startup from the get, fantastic. If that's with a Navy command out here in San Diego that we haven't traditionally had a large presence with, but now they know the broad sweep of what we can do, that we can better employ ourselves and better protect them and better take the fight to the adversary. I haven't talked about that a lot, but we're really looking to do that, right? We're really looking to find new methods that we can better protect those by being more offensively minded. We're traditionally defensive minded. When you talk about CI, you think about defense. We're looking to turn that defense into offense. So really looking forward to it. Really looking forward to the back and forth with the crowd, because that's where we got a lot. I got a lot out of it last year, and I can't tell you, I gave up my cell phone. I probably wish I hadn't, but I was taking phone calls for weeks afterwards, and it was just fantastic. So thank you again for the opportunity to be here and be on your podcast, sir.
Well, you are most welcome. Thanks for joining in. And Cheryl, let's close with you. Is there anything else that you would like to share with the Talk a Little, Learn a Lot audience?
I would remind them that it is a great event and time to reflect on the 250 years that the U.S. Navy has been essential in conflict resolution and peacekeeping. Every day, around 110 ships and 70,000 sailors and Marines are deployed worldwide, protecting our homeland and ensuring open sea lanes. I invite the audience to join us at FMMS, and let's celebrate this cornerstone of American life together.
And so thank you, Cheryl, Jen, Mark, and John, for taking time to discuss the Innovation Theater at FMMS 2025. I hope that we can welcome all of you back on Talk a Little, Learn a Lot, the podcast of the American Society of Naval Engineers.